Sanchez, watch steps.
Mr. Baez, please.
Sir. Sir, at the end of after the shooting, and I recall you testified that you stayed at the scene and a couple of police officers took your name. Is that correct?
A couple police officers took my name.
Yeah. Do you recall testifying that 2 police officers came up to you while you were covered in blood and took your name?
No, they're trying to talk. Yeah, they asked for my name, but I didn't answer.
You refused to give them their
name? I said I don't remember because I was in panic that time.
You told them you don't remember your name?
No, I said if I told I remember just one woman office come to me because they're trying to like check the area, you know, put the tape. They're trying to put the tape. There was a lot of people around that time, so he came to me, asked my name. I refused. I walked away.
So they asked you your name, you refused, and you walked away.
I didn't say nothing, man. I just walked away. It was stressful.
You just testified right now that you refused and you walked away. Do you wish to take that statement back?
Something like that, man. I don't remember the spot like 100%. I remember he came to me. I didn't talk with her at all. Like I just walked away.
And after you walked away, you left the scene?
Yeah.
You didn't go with Mr. Freire to the hospital?
No.
You didn't stay to talk to the police and give them information about the shooting?
No.
Instead, you went home and you burnt your clothes?
Yeah.
And after you burnt your clothes, did the police ever come ask you for those specific clothes?
No.
Okay. And after that evening, you spoke with Gerson Lopez, the other individual in the car, right?
Next day, right?
Okay.
In the morning?
Next day?
Yes.
Okay. So Mr. Lopez was in the back seat too?
Yeah.
And he fled as well?
Yeah. He get out of the car. He started calling me. Let's go. Come with me. I refused. No, I gotta check my friends. That's all I remember about that part.
He didn't stay and give any information to the police either?
No, he walked away too.
Okay. And when he left, the next day the two of you talked?
Yeah. And
the two of you talked about what you saw that night?
What happened? What's really happened? It was confusing, you know. He said, "Yeah, I told him like we gotta go to the Boston police station."
And after talking with him and talking about what happened that night, you then went to the police?
Yeah.
Okay. Now that night, when questioned, I strike that. The next day, when you spoke to the police asked you for your phone?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said you didn't have a phone?
Yeah.
And it's your testimony today. How old were you at the time, sir?
Now I'm 34, like, problem was 33. I mean, late 30, 32 or 31 now.
Okay, so you're about 31 years old.
Yeah.
You were employed?
What you say?
You had a job?
That time?
Yes.
If I was employed?
Yeah.
No, I wasn't working that time.
You were just working as a rapper?
No. I would, a couple works. Sometimes I do construction, stuff like that. But that time, I wasn't working.
Okay. And you said you didn't have a phone?
That time, no.
Okay. And at that time, though, you had an Instagram account, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you posted pictures from your phone that you didn't have on that Instagram account?
Man, you got Wi-Fi at home, right? Exactly. I have the same thing at home. When I get home, I connect it in internet. I got computer, all this stuff,
But the photographs that you took, the selfies, are from your phone, right?
For where?
The ones that you post on Instagram.
What picture you talking about?
Can I have a moment, Judge? When the police asked you for your phone, did they instruct you that they wanted your phone perhaps to see if there was any connection between you and someone else?
No, overruled.
Fine. If the cops asked me for the phone, yeah, I told them I don't have a phone that time.
Okay. And you're aware that, of course, they wanted to also track your movements.
What movie? What movie?
Rephrase that.
Okay.
Is the question, did the police tell him that?
Yes. Did the police tell you that they wanted to be able to know where you were that evening, and that's why they wanted your phone?
No, overruled.
I didn't get this question.
Put the question again.
Yes, sir. Did the police tell you that they wanted to know where you were, and that's why they wanted your phone?
You said that time the incident happened?
Yes.
They asked me for the phone. I told them I don't have a phone that time.
Okay. And, of course, at no time did you ever disclose, give them any of your phone records.
And I'm talking about that day. I don't have a phone that day.
Are you specifically saying that you didn't have a phone on you that day, or that you didn't have one at that time at all?
That day, that moment.
Okay.
I had a couple phones, but it wasn't connected with any company. It wasn't connected with service.
Okay.
I just use it at home. I just to use internet and stuff like that. Or take a picture. Sometimes I bring with me in my pocket just to take a picture or grab some contact or stuff like that.
Okay, so it's your testimony to this jury that you had a couple of phones that you would just use for photographs and for contacts.
Exactly.
Contacts which you couldn't call because you didn't have a phone.
I don't have a service.
Okay. Can I have just a moment, Judge? I think I'm... No further questions, Judge.
Is there any redirect?
Just one question, sir. The last exhibit that was entered, Mr. Sanchez, that picture of you going like this, you saw that picture that Mr. Baez showed you?
About guns?
Yes, it looked like you were holding what looked like a
Yeah.
gun. Was that a real gun?
No, it was fake.
And what was the purpose of that photograph?
It's because I was make a music called Al Pacino that time, and that the music.
Al Pacino, the actor?
Yeah, because I'm fond of this movie, and then that gun is from the movie we made in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. The movie called Raça Brava.
Called what?
Raça Bravo.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. Everybody can see, can search and see. Raça Bravo movie. It's a gangster movie. It's a Creole movie.
You helped make it?
Yeah, I'm on the movie.
In what year did all this happen?
Like 2000, I don't remember exactly, man.
Well, before...
It's been like, the music take like 3-4 years to coming out. And then I made like, probably 6 years ago or 7.
And that picture, is that picture from 6 or 7 years ago or from more recent one?
Yeah, that picture is old. But I put the thing out like a couple months or a year ago, I don't remember.
And then what did the words mean on top of that picture? There was something, I think, in Creole.
But there is like marking the raça, man. How can you say raça? I don't know how to explain to you, Jerry.
No, well, could you explain better in Creole?
Yeah. Can you give me translate for a second? Yeah, market the flower is Rasta.
It's just like you say Rasta.
No, not Rasta. A você translate, você usa mal, você sente em crioulo então.
You're not doing properly. You don't know how to speak.
She doesn't understand how to. She even don't understand what I'm trying to say, man.
All right, sir, would you spell the name of the movie?
No, it's not. Oh, the movie?
The movie.
Raça Brava.
Yeah. Can you spell that?
Oh, R-A-C-A. space Bravo. B-R-A-B-O. Or just Bravo. I don't know.
It's Wild Grace.
Wild Grace.
Você
How
me
that
mostra a
translates.
raça?
And did you say that was a movie made with Al Pacino?
Eu falei que é um filme feito com Al Pacino.
Or
No.
like Al Pacino's
Not
movies?
that. No. Because I'm talking about the gun, right? The same gun I used in the movie, that day I take a picture behind the camera. You understand me?
Okay.
Yeah. That day I took a picture. I have this picture like for a while. For a couple years. And then I made the music called Badil Al Pacino, but it never coming out because my computer crashed.
So again, sir, just to clarify, that is not a real gun in the picture.
No.
And that's related to the movie you made down in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. No further questions.
All right.
Mr. Baez? No further. Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
You're welcome.
You're all done. You may step down. Please watch your step.
Thank you.
Commonwealth.
Go to the Commonwealth Calls Detective Joshua Cummings.
You solemnly swear the testimony you shall give this court and jury, the issue now pending between the Commonwealth and the defendant at the bar, so the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Have a seat. Thank you very much. May I inquire, Your Honor?
Please.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Would you please introduce yourself to the ladies and gentlemen of the jury and spell your last name for the record?
Detective Joshua Cummings, C-U-M-M-I-N-G-S.
Are you a Boston Police Detective, sir?
I am.
How long have you been with the Boston Police Department, either as a sworn officer or detective?
I've been with the department as an officer since 1995. I was rated a detective in 2004.
Detective Cummings, could you tell us what areas or units you've been assigned to in the course of your career with the Boston Police Department, both as a sworn officer and then later a detective?
Initially as an officer, I was assigned to C-11, which is predominantly the Dorchester section of the city of Boston. From there, I went to the Youth Violence Strike Force for a number of years. I've been assigned to the school police unit, the mayor's security. Then I was rated a detective. I was sent back to C-11. I was there for probably about 18 months. I spent 3 months in the intelligence unit, and then I was transferred to the homicide unit.
And at some point, did you go back to the Youth Violence Strike Force?
When I was assigned to the Youth Violence Strike Force, there were two separate occasions where I was asked to go to different units. One was the school police unit, which I did for a year, and then the mayor's security for a year.
What was the Youth Violence Strike Force? What did that unit do in particular, sir?
Basically, it was a plainclothes unit. We were assigned to in and around the city of Boston to monitor the activities of violent youthful offenders.
Detective Cummings, now calling your attention to what you've testified to as far as your experience in the homicide unit of the Boston Police Department. You indicated you've been in the homicide unit since 2006, is that correct?
Correct.
So approximately 10 years you've been a homicide detective?
Yes.
And approximately how many homicide investigations have you been involved in as a detective?
As a member of a squad assigned cases, 10 years, I would say probably anywhere from 75 to 80. I've helped other squads with their cases. That number is larger, but I had a much less significant role in those cases.
And have you had the opportunity in your time on the homicide unit to be part of both day squads and night squads?
Yes.
And describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury what the difference is between a day squad and night squad, and in particular how the on-call system works.
When you're assigned to days, your shift starts at 8:30 and it concludes at 5. If you have on-call responsibilities for that day, they begin at 3 a.m. and continue until 5 o'clock. When I went to nights, the shifts are different. We start work at 5:30 and work till 1 a.m. If we are on call, our on-call shift goes from 5 p.m. until 3 a.m.
Detective Cummings, I'm calling your attention now to the year 2012. Were you a member of the homicide unit in 2012?
Yes.
And calling your attention now in particular to a date of July 16th, the year 2012, what homicide squad were you on at that time?
I was assigned to Squad 6 nights.
And that was, as you indicated, a squad that would be on call status from 5 p.m. until 3 a.m., is that correct?
Correct.
How many detectives or sergeants on that squad?
At that time, there were 2 detectives and 1 sergeant.
Detective Cummings, I'm calling your attention now to the homicide investigation of the deaths of Safira Furtado and Daniel Diabreu on the date that I stated, July 16th, 2012. Was that case assigned to your homicide unit?
Yes.
Your squad?
Correct.
And that particular night, sir, were you working or were you on a night off?
I was on a night off.
Upon returning the next day on July 16th, 2012, did you become aware that your squad had in fact taken a new homicide case, that one in particular?
I did.
And what was your understanding as to where that incident had occurred?
It happened on Herald and Tremont Street.
Now, calling your attention to that area of Herald and Tremont Street, Detective, had you and other members of your particular homicide squad recently investigated another homicide that happened in that area?
Yes.
And when was that homicide?
April of that year.
And where did that homicide take place?
There's the Tufts Garage, I think it's 275 Tremont Street. There's an open parking lot adjacent to that. That's where the incident occurred.
Detective, just calling your attention to the diagram to your left, which is marked as the number 4 in evidence. Do you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
Is that an overhead photograph of the area that includes Tremont Street in Boston?
Yes.
And you indicated that the prior homicide that your squad had investigated just a few months prior to July 16, 2012, it occurred outside of the Tufts Medical Center garage, is that correct?
It occurred in the parking lot. As you face the garage, there's an open parking lot to your right. It occurred in that parking lot.
Detective, on the screen in front of you, I'm placing Exhibit 23A. First, ask you if you recognize that, sir?
Yes.
I'm focusing in on the Tufts Medical Center garage photograph. The area right here, is that the parking lot you're talking about?
Yes.
And that's where the actual homicide that you had investigated occurred?
Yes.
And what, if any, significance did the Tufts Medical Center garage have to that investigation?
In that incident, the person responsible for the homicide that occurred in the parking lot actually exits a car with 2 other people from that garage. They run out, they take the left and into the outdoor parking area where the incident occurred.
An incident occurred somewhere in this area here in the parking lot?
Towards the back of that lot, but yes.
So in the course of that investigation, again, a few months prior to July 2012, did you and other members of your homicide unit squad pull all of the relevant video from the area?
Yes.
And including in that pull of relevant video in the area, did that include the Tufts Medical Center parking garage?
Yes.
And back in 2012, again, April 2012, when you were investigating that homicide, you become aware of what surveillance cameras existed inside that parking garage at Tufts Medical Center?
Yes.
Did you pull all relevant video from the Tufts Medical Center garage in that investigation?
Yes.
And calling your attention now to exhibit number 36A. And in particular, photographs that show what appears to be a camera showing the entrance and the exit of that parking garage. Was that video that you also pulled in April 2012?
Yes.
Calling your attention now to the photograph on top that shows 2 cameras in particular. Did you become aware from that investigation as to whether or not those 2 cameras were present in 2012?
Yes.
And what about any additional cameras that we may see in this photograph? Were those in existence in 2012?
I don't believe so, no.
And in 2012, from both the prior investigation and this investigation, did you work with and consult with members of the Tufts Medical Center security?
We did.
And did you become aware again of any cameras other than the entrance and exit and the floating plaza on the garage?
Judge, I'm going to object. This witness is testifying as to what happened in April. There's no evidence of any remedial measures taken. I would object on those. Will Peru.
Other than those 3 cameras, Detective, at least in April of 2012, were there any other cameras in our parking garage?
No.
Any other cameras inside of the parking garage covering the stairwells or the upstairs area?
No.
Just the 2 entrance and exits?
Yes.
And Detective, as to whether or not there were any cameras in the parking lot itself where the April homicide occurred, but also just a short distance from the Tufts Medical Center garage, did you determine whether or not there were any cameras in the parking lot right next door?
There were not.
And did you take photographs of that area?
Yes.
Approach witness, Your Honor.
You may.
I'm going to show you 3 photographs. I ask you if you recognize those, sir.
Yes, sir.
And are those photographs fair and accurate representations of the parking lot right next door to the Tufts Medical Center garage on or about the date in April of the homicide that your unit investigated?
Yes.
And Detective, just so there's clarification that it does not involve the July homicide, can you, in your handwriting, write April 2012 on that? Your Honor, that's the 3 photographs stapled together from the April 2012 investigation. We enter as next number exhibit.
Counsel, any objection beyond relevance?
No, sir.
All right. These will be received.
Exhibit 186.
186 being 3 photographs stapled together.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And Detective Cummings, within the past few months or even a year, have you had an opportunity to go back to that area near the parking garage and the adjacent lot?
Yes.
And are there now cameras that are placed outside there?
Yes.
Were those cameras in existence in July of 2012?
No.
Detective Cummings, I'm calling your attention now to...
Judge, it's a foundation.
Why don't you ask how the witness knows that, sir?
Well, let me get to this question, sir, then. The next day or within 2 days following the July 16, 2012 homicides of Daniel D'Abreu and Safira Furtado, did you and other members of your homicide squad conduct a video canvass of the area?
Correct.
Can you please describe for the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, and I'm going to place on the screen if it will assist you, exhibit number 23A. What, if anything, you and other detectives did relative to a video canvass of the area following the homicides on July 16, 2012?
Simply, you walk around the neighborhood where the incident occurred, where in order to locate video surveillance that may have captured the incident, the area before the incident occurred, or any potential flight path of a suspect. You literally walk around, look at buildings for exterior cameras, look at traffic lights for traffic cameras. You note the locations, and then you make inquiries of the businesses to find out who controls that camera. Once you do that, you go in and you either ask them to download the information for you. A lot of times, maybe with some of the more sophisticated systems, they don't have anybody with that level of expertise. So either they contact the company they contract with, or we have some officers who are specially trained to go in and retrieve the footage.
Calling your attention now, Detective, to you said traffic cameras. Were there any traffic cameras in the area in July 2012
Yes.
when you did this video canvass?
Yes.
And do you recall approximately where those were?
There's one right at the corner of Stewart and Tremont. There's obviously the one further up.
And that's right up here where I put the pen, Stewart and Tremont?
Yes. There's one further up at Tremont. Oak might be the cross street right before the bridge, where Tremont turns. I believe those would be the only two traffic cameras in that area.
And did you become aware in 2012, based upon further inquiry or investigative efforts, whether or not those cameras recorded?
My understanding at the time is that those were controlled by the Boston Transportation Division, which those cameras did not record.
And calling your attention now, Detective, to where you and other detectives assigned to your squad did the video canvas following the homicide of on July 16, 2012. Tell the area where you did the canvas.
Where I did was I walked Tremont Street,
From where to where?
basically from the Cure nightclub, up Tremont Street towards Shaman.
And as you walked, sir, did you take note of anything that looked like video surveillance cameras?
I believe that I located one at 100 Shaman that was recovered. The other members of my squad who went in different directions on other sides of the street recovered from other cameras.
And 100 Shaman on exhibit number 23A, is that in this area here where I placed my pen?
Yes,
And that was recovered by you?
it was located by me. It was recovered, I believe, by then Detective Timothy Laham, who's now a sergeant detective.
So that was video that you obtained pursuant to your investigation?
Yes,
And did you ultimately view that video for any relevant footage?
yes,
Did you find any relevant footage?
no.
And calling your attention to other areas along Tremont Street, again, were you able to locate any other areas of relevant footage prior to getting up to where the Tufts Medical Center garage is?
I didn't. Other members of my squad had. I think even the night of the incident, again, I was off that night. Based on our prior investigation and some of the work they did that night, they'd already located some of these cameras.
And Detective, calling your attention to the video canvas you did on this particular case, but also calling your attention to the prior case in April, were there occasions where you would see what appeared to be a camera and determine that that was not in fact a working camera?
Yes.
Describe that, please.
There are sometimes exterior cameras, buildings, businesses get sold. Sometimes the new tenant comes in, they don't think it's worth the expense to set up their own system. Sometimes the cameras are simply inoperable. They've been there a while, they have not been fixed, and sometimes people count their presence as deterrent enough and don't actually have them recording anything.
And did you find some businesses in this area during the canvases for the two investigations that fit that mold?
Yes.
And Detective Cummings, to the best of your knowledge, did you and the other members of your homicide squad conduct a thorough canvass of the area on Tremont Street?
Rephrase.
Did you and the other members of your homicide squad conduct a video surveillance search from the beginning of Stewart Street and Tremont Street, leading all the way down to where Shawmut intersects with a certain cross street?
Yes.
What was that intersecting cross street?
The Shawmut intersection?
Well, how far down did your surveillance canvas go, sir?
All the way down to where it becomes Shawmut Ave.
And did it go beyond Shawmut Ave?
I don't believe so, no.
And where we see the red dot where the homicide occurred,
Yes.
did your canvas go beyond that, sir?
Yes.
How far down?
I'm sorry. It would have gone down beyond to, I believe it's Berkeley Street.
East Berkeley Street?
Yes.
That's where I have the green dot right here, sir?
Yes.
And other than video surveillance footage that was obtained by your homicide squad from the Tufts Medical Center garage and ultimately Club Cure, was there any other video footage of relevance, at least to your knowledge, that was secured during that video canvas?
Other than Tufts,
Other than Tufts and Club Cure?
at that time, those were the most relevant areas where footage was recovered in relation to this case, yes.
Now, Detective Cummings, when you came in the following day after you had the day off, and this is, again, actually the date of the homicide, July 16, 2012, did you participate in an interview that was recorded of both Raychides Sanches and Gerson Lopes?
I did.
Additionally, sir, did you have follow-up interviews with Gerson Lopes?
I did.
And during one of those follow-up interviews, Detective, did you obtain a cellular telephone of Gerson Lopes for purpose of a full download?
Yes.
And as relative to Raychides Sanches, did you inquire of Mr. Sanchez whether or not he had a cellular telephone? To your knowledge that he indicated that he did not, is that correct?
Please, don't lead.
Were you able to obtain a cellular telephone from Raychides Sanches?
No.
No, sir, I'm calling your attention to the video surveillance footage that you did obtain from Club Cure. Can you describe for ladies and gentlemen of the jury what your understanding was as to what your squad requested for video from Club Cure?
Einstein, let me see you at sidebar, please.
Tomorrow morning. If by chance our media have it wrong and we get deluged overnight with snow, you all have the telephone number that we have given you earlier to call in, and Ms. Kazmarek will have that available once again. Call the number if there appears to be a severe storm before you go to meet the bus, and we'll have a message if we are not sitting. If there is no message, assume we are sitting. Now, sometimes there are reports on the main jury line that says Suffolk County jurors are canceled. If you hear that, pay no attention to it, because that relates to first-day jurors, those appearing for their first time. It does not appear to trial jurors. It does not apply to trial jurors. So plan to be with us tomorrow unless the storm becomes significantly more than we expect it will be. And if it looks that bad in the morning, call the phone number, and then you can be disappointed to hear you have to come. I say all that now. I've been told at lunchtime that someone is now predicting a nor'easter for next week. So we'll deal with that probably on Monday morning, but we need not address it now. Put the case out of your mind. Please don't discuss it. Don't read, hear, or see anything about this matter. Don't attempt to learn anything about this case or anything having to do with this case pending your return tomorrow morning. Enjoy the evening. Jurors may be excused.
All rise, please. All rise, please. All rise.